The air grew cold, a biting chill that seemed to seep into my very bones. It was the kind of cold that made you feel like you were being watched, like unseen eyes were tracking your every move. My breath formed wispy clouds, each exhale a visible reminder of the frigid air around me. The room was silent, save for the soft hum of my laptop. I sat alone in the darkness, my face illuminated only by the laptop screen. The glow cast eerie shadows on the walls, making the room feel even more isolated and foreboding. What started as idle curiosity about the dark web quickly became an obsession. I spent countless hours delving into its depths, uncovering secrets and stories that were both fascinating and terrifying. I found myself drawn to the whispered rumors of cursed artifacts, objects imbued with a sinister power. Each story was more intriguing than the last, and I couldn't help but be captivated by the mystery and danger they promised. One item in particular caught my eye, an antique silver locket, its surface etched with strange symbols. The intricate design seemed to tell a story, one that was both ancient and ominous. The seller claimed it was cursed, haunted by a malevolent entity. They warned that those who possessed it would be plagued by misfortune and despair. I felt a chill run down my spine as I clicked buy now. It was as if the very act of purchasing the locket had sealed my fate, binding me to whatever dark forces it contained. The anticipation was both thrilling and terrifying, a mix of excitement and dread that I couldn't shake. Days later the package arrived. It was wrapped in plain brown paper, unassuming and ordinary, but as I held it in my hands I could feel the weight of its history, the countless hands that had passed it down through the ages. I carefully unwrapped the package, revealing the antique locket inside. It was even more beautiful and haunting in person, the etched symbols glinting in the dim light. As I held the locket, I felt a strange connection to it, as if it were calling out to me. The symbols seemed to pulse with a life of their own, drawing me in deeper and deeper. A sudden chill ran through me and I glanced around nervously. The room seemed darker, the shadows longer and more menacing. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was no longer alone. With trembling hands I placed the locket around my neck and looked into the mirror. The reflection staring back at me seemed different, almost as if it were someone else entirely. The locket felt heavy, its presence a constant reminder of the unknown forces I had invited into my life. As the days passed, strange things began to happen. The locket would glow faintly in the darkness, and I would hear whispers in the dead of night. My curiosity had led me down a path I could never have imagined, and there was no turning back. The dark web was a labyrinth, a shadowy maze of hidden corners and secret passageways. It was a hidden underbelly of the internet, teeming with things both fascinating and terrifying. Here, anonymity was king, and the rules of the surface web did not apply. Navigating through encrypted messages and secret forums, I felt a growing sense of unease. The deeper I delved, the more I realized how vast and uncharted this digital underworld was. Every click felt like a step deeper into a world I wasn't meant to see. The air around me seemed to thicken with each passing moment, as if the very act of exploring this forbidden realm was drawing me into its dark embrace. After days of searching, I found it, the Black Market, a hidden marketplace rumored to trade in cursed and haunted objects. This was no ordinary marketplace, it was a place where the supernatural and the digital world intersected. My heart pounded as I located the silver locket, its price surprisingly low. The locket was said to be cursed, bringing misfortune to anyone who possessed it. Yet, there it was, displayed on my screen, almost beckoning me to make it mine. It felt like a dare, a challenge I couldn't resist, the allure of the unknown, the thrill of the forbidden. It was all too enticing. My finger hovered over the buy button, my mind racing with the possibilities and the dangers that lay ahead. With a deep breath I clicked buy. The confirmation screen flashed before my eyes, sealing my fate. I had crossed the line, stepping into a world where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blurred. Days later, a package arrived at my doorstep. As I opened it, my hands trembled with a mix of excitement and fear. There it was, the silver locket, resting innocently in its box. But I knew, deep down, that this was no ordinary piece of jewelry. As I put the locket around my neck, a chill ran down my spine. The room seemed to darken, and shadows danced at the edges of my vision. I had entered a forbidden marketplace, and there was no turning back. The package arrived on a day when storm clouds choked the sky. Rain lashed against the windows as I opened the door to find a plain brown box sitting on my doorstep. Inside, nestled in black velvet, lay the locket. It was heavier than I expected, cold to the touch. The symbols etched into its surface seemed to writhe and shift as I stared at them. An overwhelming sense of dread washed over me, a primal instinct screaming at me to throw it away. But I couldn't. I was captivated, ensnared by its dark allure. The first sign was a whisper, soft and indistinct, like a breath against my ear. It came at night, always when I was alone. Then came the nightmares, vivid, terrifying dreams of a shadowy figure with eyes that burned like hot coals. I woke up each morning drenched in a cold sweat, the feeling of unseen eyes watching me lingering long after the sun rose. The locket seemed to radiate a palpable coldness, its presence suffocating me. My once peaceful home had become a prison of fear. Driven by a desperate need for answers, I delved into ancient texts and forgotten lore. I scoured online forums dedicated to the paranormal, seeking any information I could find about cursed objects. Finally, I stumbled upon a website detailing the history of the silver locket. It was said to have belonged to a powerful sorcerer who made a pact with a demonic entity. The locket, the website claimed, was a conduit to a dark dimension, a gateway for malevolent forces to enter our world. Section 6. A Desperate Struggle. This chapter delves into the harrowing experience that left me questioning my sanity and the very fabric of reality. Panic clawed at my throat. Each breath felt like a battle, a desperate struggle to maintain control over my own body. The room seemed to close in on me, the walls pressing in as if they were alive. I tried to discard the locket, to throw it away, but an unseen force held me back. It was as if invisible hands gripped my wrist, preventing me from letting go. The locket glowed ominously, a sinister light that seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. It was as if the locket had a hold on me, its power growing stronger with each passing day. I could feel its influence seeping into my mind, whispering dark thoughts and filling me with dread. The once innocuous trinket had become a symbol of my torment. I contacted paranormal investigators, priests, anyone who might be able to help. My desperation grew with each passing day, and I was willing to try anything to rid myself of the cursed object. I spent hours on the phone, explaining my plight to anyone who would listen. Most dismissed me as delusional, but a few listened with a mixture of pity and fear in their eyes. They could see the toll it was taking on me, the way my hands trembled and my eyes darted around the room as if expecting an attack at any moment. They spoke of ancient rituals, of sacrifices that needed to be made to appease the entity trapped within the locket. These rituals were not for the faint of heart, involving complex incantations and offerings that had to be made under specific conditions. The more I learned, the more hopeless my situation seemed. I spent countless nights researching, poring over ancient texts and obscure references. My life became consumed by the quest to understand the locket and find a way to break its hold on me. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by a relentless drive to uncover the truth. Finally, I decided to perform one of the rituals. With trembling hands, I gathered the necessary items and followed the instructions to the letter. The air grew thick with tension as I chanted the ancient words, the flickering candlelight casting eerie shadows on the walls. As the ritual concluded, I felt a sudden release, as if a great weight had been lifted from my shoulders. The locket lay dormant on the table, its sinister glow extinguished. I approached it cautiously, half expecting it to spring back to life, but it remained still. I locked the locket in a sturdy box and buried it deep in the ground, hoping that it would never resurface. As I walked away, I felt a sense of finality, a glimmer of hope that perhaps the nightmare was finally over. But deep down, I knew that the memory of the locket and its dark power would haunt me forever. The dawn of a new day brought with it a renewed sense of purpose. I had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, but the experience had changed me. I was no longer the same person I had been before the locket entered my life. I had learned that some struggles leave scars that never fully heal, but they also teach us the true meaning of resilience and courage. Section 7. The Ritual. Following their instructions, I gathered the necessary materials: candles, herbs, a silver dagger. The air crackled with energy as I performed the ritual in the dead of night. The locket pulsed with an eerie light, the symbols on its surface glowing like embers. The temperature plummeted, and the shadows in the room seemed to writhe and twist. I could feel the entity's presence, malevolent and hungry, pressing against the veil of our world. Section 8. Release. With a deep breath and a prayer on my lips, I plunged the silver dagger into the heart of the locket. A blinding flash of light erupted, throwing me backwards. I lay on the floor, gasping for breath, my ears ringing. When I finally opened my eyes, the locket was gone. The air was still, the oppressive weight that had been crushing me lifted. The whispers were gone. The nightmares ceased. I was free. Section 9. A warning from the brink. The experience left me shaken, forever changed. The dark web is not a playground. It is a dangerous place filled with things that are best left undisturbed. The locket was a terrifying reminder of the unseen forces that lurk just beyond our perception, a testament to the darkness that can consume us if we let it. If you ever find yourself tempted by the allure of the unknown, remember my story. Some doors are not meant to be opened. Some secrets are best left buried.